Hello, my fellow Nigerians. The making of an Alafin, Bribes or the Gods by Festus Adebayo. Hey, the question that remains to be answered now is the framers of the unwritten constitution of Oyo Kingdom, especially its kingship electoral system, envisage that a day like this would come when the otherwise revered council would be emerged in the sordid allegation of colossal bribery to pick an Alafin. Is there fairness in the choice of an Alafin candidate whose nomination was ostensibly prompted by graft and bribery? Which of the nominations would be seen to be equitable? The one made via bribery or the one made through the Ifa Oracle and government nominated chiefs? In a viral video, Professor Wande Abimbola, former Vice Chancellor of the University of Ife, now Obafemi Awolowo University, and the wise of Yoruba land, head of all Ifa Oracle diviners, threw a bombshell in it. He affirmed that the Oyo State government contacted him on the divisional divination process leading to the nomination of a new Alafin of Oyo. Abimbola, who hails from Oyo town, would seem to have ignited a major earthquake which struck Yoruba land and its system of choosing kings. In its strike, the earthquake disemboweled dirty and stench and flung them in the face of the people. The shame hit the Yoruba people whose strength from ancient times had always been reference to the purity and the incorruptibility of their traditional system. Abimbola then claimed that the Oyo State governor put a call to him and asked him to preside over Ifa Oracle's choice of who would succeed Alafin Lamidi Adeyemi, as it was done in Igba Iwase, the ancient time. I spent 10 days seeking the face of Ifa Oracle, and the Ifa made his choice. He said, asked who Ifa chose, the professor said it was Prince Owade, the man announced by the Oyo State government on Friday. He claimed that upon the Ifa divinity's choice, the kingmakers sought to persuade him to change his mind over it through many subterfuges, but he refused. The announcement on Friday of Prince Akim Owade as the Alafin of Oyo designate by the Oyo State government was the trigger of the above as celebrations and tempers hit the news. Abimbola also alleges that a fight ensued among the Oyomesi, the traditional kingmakers of Oyo, over sharing of the huge sums of money collected from candidates for the office, though they had collectively agreed to choose the candidate who gave them the hugest bribe. Two of the kingmakers were said to have queried over the amount of money collected by their head and the amount given them in turn. Oyo people were then said to have petitioned the government asking if it was aware of the deleterious influence and the effect of bribery on the stool. The Alafin, before the advent of the colonial laws, held powers that could only be curtailed and questioned by the 7-member Oyo Mercy to the Council of Kingmakers. The kings of Oyo were given cognizance, which affirmed their mini omnipotence, like Ikú Baba Yeye and Aláṣẹ Ìkejì Òrìṣà, both of which considered them as vice regents of Yoruba gods of creation on earth, except when the institution of kingmakers intervened. The actions of the Alafin, either justified or otherwise, were unquestioned and unquestionable. The role of the Oyo Mercy in the choice of Prince Owode has become an issue lately, immediately after the interment of Alafin Adeyemi in the traditional King's Cemetery in Bara. The contest for succession to the throne of the foremost king in Yoruba land began, made up of 7 principal officers of the state. Together, the kingmakers are the electoral council of the Oyo kingdom and are also imbued with legislative powers. Their head is the Basharu, who also doubles as the prime minister. Other members of the electoral council are the Agba-Akin, the Samu, the Alakmini, the Laguna, the Akiniku, and the Ashipa. When there is a vacancy, the Basharu is expected to consult the Ifa oracle for guidance and the approval of who the next Alafin would be. In times past, it was believed that Oyo kings were chosen by the gods. However, the preemptory manner with which kings are chosen in Yoruba land and the fascination of kingmakers with money in the choices have given people a different opinion. In October 2023, it was reported that the Economic and Financial Crime Commission, EFCC, had quizzed the Oyo kingmakers over allegations that they took bribes from one of the candidates to the vacant stool. They were alleged to have received the sum of 15 million naira each from that candidate. The state government was said to have doubted the fairness of the Oyo Mercy. On account of this allegation, it thus appointed warrant kingmakers to join 2 dissenting Oyo Mercy chiefs in the persons of the Agba-Akin and the Samu of Oyo. This produced the Alafin designate, whose choice was made known on Friday. So many studies have been embarked upon, and the Yoruba divination, Yoruba Ifa divination, and its as the divination trace have also been subjected to sizable studies. Professor Wande Abimbola, the most furious voice in defense of this inherited system of divination, has conducted so many studies on Ifa and its place in Yoruba religion and the position of divination in the Yoruba pattern. In this wise, Abimbola has variously produced and pursued the desirability of the use of Ifa divination, poetry, and literature as sources of historical evidence, even in a modern age as ours. He theoretically and even practically focuses on Ifa prose, poetry, mythology, and divination. Indeed, many studies on the Ifa corpses that have submitted that with Ifa divination, there is not only a religious implication but a means of communication between man and God among the Yoruba people. In fact, study has posited that Ifa divination has a cultural underpinning for the Yoruba people and is connected to Oromila, a Yoruba deity whose teachings are used by kingsmakers in the selection of kings in times past. My brothers and sisters, this is what we are saying. In the comment section, you are free to say your opinion. Subscribe to this channel, share, love, and like. God bless Nigeria. God bless your kingdom. Excuse me. Thanks and God bless.